Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm installing a trolling motor on a 234 Ultra Sea Hunt, and had great instructions all the way up until this point, but my SD card corrupted. So I'm going to try to catch you up, guys, real quick. So we did a whole unboxing. This is the trolling motor. This is a 112 pound thrust 70-inch trolling motor. We've already taken off the side plates here, and all it was a couple of screws. Had a great video showing that. It's real easy, but like I said before, the SD card corrupted. Now we are installing the quick release bracket here, and the bracket that we purchased is the RTA 54. Just make sure before you install it, make sure you read the instructions on it. And we've also already kind of pre-placed where our trolling motor needs to be. You can see it right here. On this boat, we also took out the anchor. We looked underneath the anchor just to make sure there wasn't a place designated for a trolling motor to install. On some boats, they'll kind of thicken up areas on here, but on this one they did not. They also have the trolling motor already connection. It's already installed on the boat, and it's in that right hand corner there. But trying to catch us back up to where we're at right now. It's definitely harder trying to install something when you're trying to film it, but right now we're about to put on our bolts. We had to offset the trolling motor right here. You can see that it is stable. Now there will be more tension on these bolts right here when you deploy, as if it was scooped back, but that's okay. We're going to put on some oversized washers, and so it should be good. And this is also exactly how I installed it on my Robalo 246. And the reason why we have to offset this like this is because if you do not have the sliding mount bracket, your trolling motor will not be able to clear the lip of your boat. And so before you take off the side brackets, everything, just go ahead and check it up here and make sure you'll clear it, because that will save you time when mounting the trolling motor. I knew this already in advance, just because I've mounted a couple of these, and this is just the way I've mounted them. Haven't had any problems mounting them this way. This area real here is all solid steel. Hadn't had any problems with it like this. But all right, we're gonna finish up mounting it, and hopefully we don't have any more errors on the SD card. We are slowly running out of daylight, but we finally got our screws tied in here. This area, it's a little tricky. I mean, it only took us about 10 minutes, but you just gotta hold. It's always good to have a good pair of vice grips so that you can grab it like this to place it on there, just because, and you're gonna have the needle nose vice grips, just because it's just a lot, it's really tight space right here. And so it's hard to get my fingers in here and hold it. And another set of hands always helps, like my dad, he's helping me right now unscrewing it. But we just got these screws set up. When you see that, we do have it all set here. But we are going to now put the cover on, and we are going to drill our holes in the boat. Okay guys, so we got our covers all the way on, and now we're about to just position the trolling motor up here just one more time, just to make sure that we have the angle exactly how we want. I think this is about where we want the block to be. And so I have my pencil, we'll stick it through, mark our spots, and then once we mark our spots, we'll start drilling our holes right here. One thing you want to make sure right here is that you don't want to get too close to this edge, because then once the bolt goes down, the bolt won't have enough room to drop all the way down underneath your anchor, underneath this bulkhead here. It'll actually hit the side of this boat right here. So make sure you pay attention to that when you're drilling your hole. So you don't want it so close to the edge that your bolt can't drop all the way down. Help me. Got this up there. Ooh, gave me the heavy end. All right, so we're putting it up here one more time just to make sure. All right, so about right there with maybe, that actually might be about right. That's kind of close to that. Let's get it just that way, just a little bit. All right, guys, so we just put the trolling motor up here. You can see that we do have it all set a little bit, but that's just to make sure that it can clear here. And one way to tell is you look down in that hole. If you see the boat right here, when this thing deploys, it's going to hit the side of your boat. So that's why we had to offset it like that right there. But we got it positioned. I'm going to mark the holes, and then after we mark the holes, we're going to drill them. All right, guys, we just wanted to check one more time with it deployed. Make sure that we have plenty of room to cover. It looks like we have about 3 inches, so that's pretty good. So we can actually scoot it back just a little bit, and we'll have enough room. When you do this, make sure you do hold the back part of the bracket because it is in tension with all the weight now in the forward position. All right, guys, we have just taken the trolling motor off. We got our holes mounted, or our holes identified right here. You can see it right here. And then we have our outline of where the bracket should be after we mount it and put our screws in. We're about to drill some holes, and we're running out sunlight, but look how beautiful the sunset is. I think this is going to end up being a 2-day job just because this afternoon we don't have a lot of time. And we're going to get the trolling motor mounted today, and then we're going to do the batteries and the onboard battery chargers tomorrow afternoon. All right, got our holes drilled, and now we're about to put in our screws through our bracket. One thing you want to make sure to check when you do this, oh, I don't have the trolling motor down there, but there is two different ends on that bracket, and you want to make sure you have the short end facing that way. And I'll show you all that in here in a minute. It's pretty dark outside now, but we just got the 4 bolts installed, and I'm going to show you underneath here. One thing that's pretty good about the Ultra is that it's actually pretty easy to reach in there and grab them. And you can see that we got the bolts installed right there, but it was actually pretty easy to do. Some boats are a lot harder to install, but we're about to throw the trolling motor up here right now. All right, right before we put the trolling motor on the boat, one thing that we had to put on was the locking mechanism. But all you do is slide it in and then put on a screw, and right now we're about to put on the prop. All we have to do is take off this red spacer here, so we're about to untake that off and then put on the prop. So we're taking off the spacer, just remove the red washer here, taking off the spacer, and then we're going to slide on the prop. You can see there it has a groove that it matches up with this piece here. I'm just going to slide it on. Make sure it's in the groove. It's in the groove. And then we're just going to put our washer on and our nut and tighten it up.
You got Christmas tree?
We got a little one, yeah.
Where's the one? Where's the one?
Yeah.
You need to get a big one.
You get a big one?
Come on, Bryce, come on.
Bryce is ready to go fishing in Pawpaw's boat. He's like, why are we not going fishing?
Yeah.
You just don't want to make sure it's not too tight, guys.
Come on, Bryce. Let's go play.
About to put the trolling motor on the boat. Here, Dad. When you're doing this, make sure you pick up with your legs. Make sure you have the bracket in your hands. If you have 2 people, just make sure that the strongest person is on that motor because that is the heaviest part. And putting it on these big boats like that, it is some work. Slide it on. Holes are lined up. Put the bracket on. Alright guys, we got it installed. We really had to push it in there. What it was is that it just wasn't lined up right, but once we got it lined up, we were able to push it in. We're going to call it a night for right now, and tomorrow we're going to start again, and we're going to actually hook it up and then also hook up the batteries. we're back at it this morning. And so where we're at now is that we got the trolling motor mounted. You can see it right here. We're about to go ahead and connect the male end to the trolling motor plug right here. That came with the sea hunt, and you'll see that we'll be able to plug it in there. And once we get that connected, we'll be installing our battery trays and our batteries, which are out there, and we're going to be installing them right here inside of the console here. So we're going to go ahead and connect the mill into this. If your boat didn't come with a trolling motor plug or a mill end, you'll probably have to buy a whole new assembly and install it wherever you have it fit on your boat. But this is where it came pre-rigged at on the 234 Ultra. Alright, we just connected our trolling motor to our plug, and now we're going to go inside the console and install the batteries in the battery tray. I'm thinking we're going to probably install them on this bench right here so we don't utilize this space and take up this space for storage. And you can see that our trolling motor wires come out right there. We have just got done installing the batteries, and like always, something so easy ends up being so difficult because you're trying to conceal them. So we got our plug installed, all that's good. We still have to install the, I call it the hockey puck, but I just want to show you where we installed the batteries at on the Ultra. So like always, there's a pain in the butt to kind of figure out how to get them. So the size battery that we got, well actually I need to show you where the batteries are. So when you open it up, you don't see the battery. So that's one thing that I wanted to make sure when we were installing this, that we couldn't see the batteries. So the batteries are actually located on this shelf back here, and you can see how that we have them lined up. We have two that are lined up sideways and one's lined up this way. There's no way for us to get all three batteries you know, horizontal, and you really can't stick them in vertically either, because the posts right here, they end up hitting this little glove box right here on the other side. So the batteries that we used are the 24T batteries, and we have the 24 trays in them too. But I think this is really going to hold good. Like, I mean, it's gonna stay in there, and also this glove department also kind of keys them in a little bit. But we got to go get another nut for this terminal, because the battery that we got didn't come with one. This battery didn't have its nuts with it. But after we put on these nuts, we're going to install the hockey puck, and then we're also going to do the onboard battery charger. Thinking about mounting the onboard battery charger on this wall right here. That's where I'm thinking. It's probably mounted on this wall, and then have it going all the way over here, and then put a little box to go to the outside so we can charge it. We're slowly running out of daylight. Dad just got back with the nuts, and I went ahead and drilled my hole for the hockey puck. One thing I wanted to do to make sure when I was installing this is put it on the slant part of the sea hunts. All the sea hunts have this kind of dip in it. When on my 24BX, I actually put it right in the middle, and a lot of water ponded right there. So this time I made sure to put it all the way up at the top. And where that does is that wire comes through. I was able to reach underneath here, grab the wire and pull it through. You can see it right here. But I'm about to hook it up to one of these terminals here for power. The reason why you want to hook it up inside the console and not just directly to one of these batteries here is that it does have a slow trickle. It will pull from your batteries. And so I like hooking it up to the boat power here, so when we turn it off in the back, there's no power being sucked from anywhere else. I mean, you really could just hook it up here directly to your batteries, but if you did that, it would always be pulling from your trolling motor batteries. So I'm going to hook it up to the boat batteries here. And then once we get that done, we're going to turn the trolling motor on. We're going to link up the hockey puck and the trolling motor, and then we're also going to install the onboard battery charger. It is pitch black out here, but look in here. So I just hooked up the hockey puck here, and you can see that I've already paired it. And what you do to pair it is you push this button and it starts blinking, and you come over to your trolling motor, and you got to make sure that it's powered on, and you hit the pair button here. You can see that we have it right here hooked up, and then we also have it to our negative board over here. But I was like, why will this thing not turn on? There was no fuse here, so the manufacturer didn't have a fuse here. And here's a better look at our batteries here. And so now the last thing we're gonna do is install the battery, onboard battery charger. I'm thinking we're gonna probably put it against this bulkhead here. I think it's probably gonna be the best place for it. But we're gonna do that here now. All right, we had to make this into a third day installation. I ended up going out of town, but now we got the boat back over here, and we're finishing up putting on the battery charger. One thing we had to do was we wanted to use a 1/4 inch bolt. Just looks a little bit more for appearance than actually needed for structural ability. But we drilled out the holes so that our 1/4 inch bolt can fit in there, and you can see our bolt right here. I'm going to end up putting the big washer on the outside, just so that when we come in and we punch our holes here, it'll come out like that. Just don't want to crack the fiberglass when we tighten this thing down, because it will have load on it. We've got our holes located at. I'm about to drill our holes. You can see I got my marks there. It's kind of hard to tell with the mildew, but I do have marks there that I'm about to start drilling some holes. And we're going to hook it up to the battery here. My dad wants the charger to come out on this side, so we're going to see if it can reach to this side, just because when his power cord comes over the fence, it's closer to this side of the boat. All right, we're going to drill holes and put on our battery charger. We got the battery charger installed, and you can see our 4 bolts right here, and you can see that we put nice oversized washers on here, and that's just to protect the fiberglass from cracking. On the other side, we did not use any washers on the battery charger, just because it has a steel bracket right there, and you can see that we have our bolts through right here and our nuts. You can see, and you really can't put a washer right here anyways, because it has a little lip and edge, and the washer would hang off on either side. And we have them installed on the other side. We also went ahead and hooked up our positive and our negatives all the way across. So the last thing we're going to do is install a battery charger port AC plug holder. It's going to put a hole right through here. One thing you want to do when you make sure to install this AC plug does have a good part that sticks back, so you got to make sure that it can fit in this gap right here. And the brand that we are using is Pro Marine AC plug holder. There's a picture of it right there. It requires a 1 7/8 inch hole saw. I don't know where I just placed it. Where did I place? I placed it at right here. So to install this, you got to have a 1 7/8 inch hole saw. You can get these at Lowe's. But real quick, we're going to check it to make sure that it can actually come all the way back and fit through here. You can see right there, it actually can fit through there and have enough room to get the cable in there. So we should be pretty good. Just wanted to make sure though, because if it gets too close, you won't be able to have that charger there. All right, we're going to drill a hole. I think I'm going to try to move it over about right there and make sure I miss this wire right here. All right, so we're going to drill this hole. Just drilled our hole. You cannot get any better than that, guys. Perfect, just like that. Alright, let's see if how this thing just fits in here real quick. Make sure it looks good. Alright, so that is how it's going to look once it's installed. And we'll have our wire come in right there, and we will be done. Alright, we're done. Looks pretty good. We got it the AC plug holder installed. Looks really sharp. Got it pretty aligned. Actually got it aligned. Looks pretty good from the back. All we gotta do now is put on our cover. But that is going to conclude our trolling motor install on a Gulf boat. 234 Ultra, I believe, is the brand of this boat. Sea Hunt? Yep, Sea Hunt 234.
Yep.
All right, guys. Dad owes me a good steak dinner for this one.
Yep,
I'm just joking now. You don't owe me a steak dinner. Y'all have already took care of us on Christmas. All right, we are done, Mom. I hope you like your new trolling motor. I hope we'll get some good use out of it snapper fishing. Now we don't have to go in my boat. We can go in y'all's boat. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you on the water.